Okay.
Okay, so onwards and upwards with energy, virya, yeah, the third factor of awakening. Yeah, I want to approach it from a slightly different angle this morning, which is to look at the ideal level of energy that we want to bring to the practice. There's so often for us this idea of virya, virya energy. We hear that, and it can be. We can start to imagine that it involves really straining in some way, striving in some way, right? Bringing a lot of strong intention, and in many ways, this is one of uh, the issues for many of us is the over striving in meditation, the trying too hard, the pushing too hard. And yet we think, well, that's what it is, isn't it? It says virya, strong. It must be strong. I must be not pushing, trying hard enough, right? And so it's important to understand in this context what balanced energy means in this practice and in Buddhist practice. What is balanced energy? The metaphor that I have is from this guy back in uh, the last century, who came up with this scale, a subjective scale for identifying how much of this or how much of that people are experiencing on a scale of 1 to 10. And it's a Likert, it's called Mr. Likert. It's called a Likert scale. Yeah. That if you would ask somebody on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being, for example, if we take anxiety, what is the least amount of anxiety that you've ever experienced? You know what that is. 10 would be the most you've ever experienced. What is your level of anxiety right now? And he found with a number from 1 to 10. And he would find that actually people were pretty, it was pretty accurate. It was helpful. It was a very helpful, yeah. Or if you're struggling with depression right now, well, 1 being the least depression, 10 being the most depression you've ever experienced. Where are you right now with depression? Yeah. And it would be a way of gauging, and then week by week or month by month, how is that number changing and so forth and so on. So I love the idea of applying this to energy, optimal energy, balanced energy, as I'm suggesting that we want to bring to meditation. On a 1 to 10 scale, balanced energy is in the 4 to 6 range. The 4 to 6 on a 1 to 10 scale. It's right there in the middle. Now, most of us, most of the time, a lot of the time, are either a little higher energy, yeah. Just in general, we're on higher energy. We run on a relatively wired frequency in this culture. A lot of the time, we're up in like the 7 to 8 range. There's buzz, there's a lot of buzz. And when we sit down in meditation, there's that restless energy, which, as we've identified, is one of the most challenging afflictive emotions for all of us. A little bit too much up energy, right? It's up in 7 to 8. And very often we go from 7 to 8, we're in 7 to 8 for a lot of our day, actually, which actually creates stress. And then at the end of the day, we're tired, partly because we've been at 7 to 8 most of the day. And then what do? We crash to about a 3 or a 2. Oh, now we're so tired. And we spend not so much time in that middle zone, the zone where Susan says alert and relaxed, balanced energy. And we know when we're in balanced energy, actually 4 to 6, but we don't visit that place often. That's the place where we want to be in meditation. It's balanced energy. There's enough energy to be present, right? Enough energy to be present, but not so much that we're wired, that we're restless, that we're scattered, that we're, right? Scattered, and not so little that we're in a kind of a slightly groggy. We can even get into some pleasant states of mind that are a little dreamy, a little drifty, right? Oh, it's nice, but that's more like a two to three. We're frequent visitors of 2 and 8, of drifty, dreamy, not quite enough energy, just whatever. I'm just gonna let the mind go, but I'm not really present. Or I'm a little overly wired, and right. And so much of this practice, and this is part of what we're hoping you'll come to discover in the inner holding environment as well, that we talk about with you so often, is that middle place, which actually, when we're in it, feels kind of good. Not euphoric, not ecstatic, not wildly joyful, but balanced. There's a certain sweetness, a certain ease in that 4 to 6 range. It's a little cooler. It's not too hot, not too cold, but just right, as Goldilocks said to the 3 bears, with the oatmeal thing. I think it was oatmeal. Was it oatmeal? And so much. I mention this because a lot of the practice, and we don't, again, this is one of those things we don't necessarily pay attention to in and of itself. What's the level of energy that I'm bringing to meditation? So I bring this metaphor to this 4 to 6 range, because when you find yourself, oh, where am I right now? Oh yeah, this is a 3. I'm kind of drifting. My attention is a little too weak. I'm just kind of drifting. You want to bring a little bit more energy up until you're up in that 4 or 5 range, somewhere between 4 and 6. Oh, right. And when it's too high, which we also find ourselves in a lot, restlessness, especially when we first sit down, right? There's a lot of buzz going on there. How to bring it down in the 4 to 6 range. Yeah. So it's a little more balanced. So, we always start, right, with orienting towards settling. Well, what we're really trying to orient to from one perspective is orienting to bring the energy down into a balanced place, right? Into a balanced, more easeful, but present, conscious, connected place, right? 4 to 6. And not so much, it goes down, not too far down to where we're drifty and dreamy, which is more in the 2 range, 2 to 3 range. Yeah. So I know I tend to be also a numbers guy, but I find that super helpful from time to time, because again, this is another example of not so much connected with content of the mind, right? It's the energy with which we're attending. Yeah. Regardless of what is actually there, whether it's the breath or something else, what is the energy level that's there as we're attending to it? Yeah. Right? Because I can be present to something really tight. Yeah, I'm really paying attention. I can be paying attention in a tight way and be at an 8. Yeah. But that's not where we want to, that's not where we want to go. And that's not sustainable. And it's actually creates some tension, even if the attention is there. The balanced energy is, a little lower than that. So it's just one more thing to monitor, you could say, or just to check in from time to time. Because we want to get acquainted with and familiar with and befriend that balanced energy space that's somewhere in the middle zone, that relaxed and alert. Yeah, it's 4 to 6 range. Okay, so I'll leave you with that for today. Another angle on energy or virya, which means balanced energy. You'll hear us say from time to time, not heroic effort. Heroic effort pushes us way too high on the scale. And I've done a lot of that, so I know it. I know how that can be out of balance. I'm not going to let the breath go. I'm going to stay here now. That's a little bit, a little too strong there, you know? The breath is already moving. It's already moving. We don't have to clutch it. We don't have to get too intense with it, you know? But we need to bring enough energy to begin to stay with it and return to it too. Yeah. So it's again that middleness, as Susan will say, of the middleness of that energy that's balanced, not too hot and not too cold. Okay. So thank you for your kind attention, and let's practice together. Okay. So opening up first, of course. See what needs attention. And gradually slowing down, lightly closing the eyes. Maybe a few deeper than usual breaths. Expanding both the inhale and extending a bit also the exhale. And beginning to feel into what might be that sense of balanced energy. Maybe checking in for a moment. If the energy is a little too low, how to bring a little bit more energy in. And if it's a little too high, how to soften a little bit more, to settle a little bit more. Balanced energy. The last few minutes of the meditation. Thank you, everybody. Yeah.
practice. Let me stop the recording. Give